Hi folks, my name's Steve Cullen and I'd like to introduce you to Vision's Stillmaniac range. Now this is a really popular set of rods and reels that marry up perfectly with everything. In the rod range we've got a delicate 9'9" for a 6 weight, which is great for nymphing. On this size up, a great rod for bank fishing on still waters would be the 9'9" 7 weight. We then move up to the most popular rod rating and length in the UK, which is a 10'7" weight. If there's one rod that's synonymous with still water fishing in the UK, that's it. And then you've got the beefier 10'8" weight, and the 10'8" weight's the ideal boat fishing rod. When you're chucking out large lures, fishing a team of nymphs, any kind of distance fishing, it's ideal. To complement the still water range of rods, we've got the Vision Stillmaniac cassette reel. Now the newest one in the range is the 6'7" weight, and the 6'7" weight balances the 9'9" 6 weight and the 9'9" 7 weight perfectly. Great for most of your bank still water fishing applications. The heavier reel, the cassette reel, is the 7'8" weight. Again, complements the rod. The bigger the rod, the more weight's in the top section, so you want a balance point. So a heavier reel, the 7'8" weight, balances that Stillmaniac perfectly. And they've got loads of great features, which makes these things really come alive when you put them together with this rod. Focusing on the 9'9" for a 6 weight, I really like this rod, and I like this rod a lot for my nymph, my more delicate presentation fishing, especially when I'm fishing from a bank. And this is where this rod comes into its own. It's a lot lighter and it's got a more forgiving action than the heavier outfits, and that allows me to fish with a skinnier tippet. When I fish with a skinnier tippet, I get a far better presentation when I'm nymph fishing and or dry fly fishing. And one of the benefits of this more forgiving action, especially when I'm nymph fishing, if you imagine when you're fishing with a team of nymphs, you've actually got 2, sometimes 3 flies on. So this softer action allows me to get a more open loop, so it stops me getting tangles when I'm fishing. And this is ideal with this style of rod. So I get a more open loop, I get a more delicate presentation, but more than that, I get to fish my flies far more effectively because I've got a skinnier tippet on the end there, which you can get away with a 9'9" 6 weight rod. I can fish my flies and present them exactly as they're supposed to be presented anywhere in the water column. The 9'9" 7 weight, this is ideal choice for me when it comes to fishing some of these bigger venues from the bank. And the reason I prefer this over the 6 weight, when I'm fishing from a bigger venue especially, is because I can quickly change. Although we've got the ability to change spools on any of these reels, when you're on a 7 weight, you'll tend to change lines far more often. And that's because we have more of them. So I can go right down to a die 5 on this, and I'll take it with ease. And what it does is it allows me to get my flies at distance no matter where I'm fishing. It's got a little bit more power, the action is just a tad stiffer, so what it does is it lets me punch a line into the wind, and that's crucial to get the edge over everybody else that's fishing on the bank on those particular venues. The other thing worth mentioning with the action with this rod, it's a little bit more forgiving than its bigger counterparts, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to get far more enjoyment when it comes to playing fish. Even with a light tippet, there's enough give in this rod where you get the most from the fight, and I think that's crucial, and it certainly adds a lot more enjoyment to your day. So now to the flagship model, or to me the flagship model. This is the 10'7" weight, and this is the ultimate, I think, in UK still water rods. The 10'7" weight allows you to do everything, and it allows you to do it with ease, whether that be fishing from the bank with a team of nymphs or maybe a dry fly, or powering out fast sinking lines. This rod, given its action, which is a little bit stiffer, it lets me cast that little bit further. Now if you imagine a set of guys lined up along the bank, and they'll all cast a certain distance. If you can get just a tiny fraction longer on your cast than those guys, you're covering water that they aren't, and that's one of the big benefits of this 10'7" weight. Also, because it's a little bit stiffer, when you've got a wind, any kind of wind, we can know the havoc it can play when you're fly fishing. It allows you to create a tighter loop, get that fly exactly where you want it. And one of the other things with a 10-foot rod, more than a 9-footer or a 9'9", is the ability to mend line. When you're fishing buzzers on the swing with a left to right wind or right to left wind, you can uplift that line, move it over to the side and let your flies get down, or stick a mend in the opposite direction due to the length of the rod and let them fish that little bit faster. So the benefits are multiple. But for out and out still water fishing, this would be the ideal choice for the majority of anglers here in the UK. And the reason for that is you can fish so many various still water fishing applications, and that's what makes this rod an out and out winner. And now to this new model, the 10-foot 8-weight, and what a rod it is. It's an utter powerhouse. It's a lot stiffer, it's got a far more aggressive action and a faster, quicker tip recovery. And all that leads to is out and out distance casting. So if you think of some of the modern still water fly lines we've got with heavy front tapers, thin running line, we can cast these things miles. And this is the kind of rod that you need for that style of fishing. Now for me, you can fish this from the bank, especially on windy days, because it will gain you those extra yards. However, this to me is an out and out boat rod. And the reason I say that is, when I'm in the boat and I'm using this rod, I can cover water quicker than my boat partner can, and that's because I can cast further. This rod with its more aggressive action lets me cover water before anybody else has, and that's a real boon when you're boat fishing. It's good for big flies as well, so we're talking snakes, boobies, minkies, anything that's wind resistant. Because you've got that power up the top end, I can get that fly exactly where I want it. And one of the other benefits of an 8-weight, especially when you're competition fishing, because let's face it, a lot of competition anglers use 8-weight, I can get a fish to the boat, to the net, far quicker than I could with a 7-weight. So there you go, the 10-foot 8-weight, new, an utter powerhouse, but what an addition to an already award-winning range.